Thank you. Thanks for the great comments from our American colleague regarding bounce rates. I found it interesting. Uh, okay, we'll go to our third session of this morning, and we'll talk about how users view, in general, how they view websites. We'll give you some tools to checking how users view your website, with some things to take home, as usual, and to look out for some red alerts within Google Analytics, and quickly wrap up with the impact, as in financial impact, for and the motivation for improving the performance of your website. So this groovy gentleman is considered the king of usability, Jacob Nielsen, and in '96 he took 232 people and put them in front of computers and checked how they view websites, and saw that, surprisingly or not surprisingly, there's a common way to how they viewed the websites, and he called it the F-shaped pattern. We'll soon visualize what that was. And this is a heat map looking at, if the area is red, it means that people watched the page for longer. Basically, these people were wearing these very sophisticated devices. It was a very expensive research. Today, by the way, you have tools that show you more or less the same for free. It's just unbelievable what's happening on the internet with all these free tools. And the F shape is basically, you can sort of see a bit of an F. It requires a bit of an imagination. But here's a bit of an F, and there's a bit of an F. There's two horizontal lines. People sort of scan horizontally once, twice, and then they start skimming down. Okay. Now you do not know to remember the F shape or this research, but you do need to understand the implications. So users won't read your text thoroughly, okay? And your first two paragraphs are very important. If you have that a session to improve your copywriting, do focus on that. Obviously, the top left is going to be where most of the eyeballs are going to go to. These are on most languages that are written from left to right. In Hebrew or Arabic, for example, it would be a mirror of the F shape. And basically, you want to let users scan your website. Maybe you guys also remember yourself, looking at a newspaper. There's subheadings there for you to scan. If I don't want to read each paragraph, I can sort of understand and follow through the main points by looking at the subheadings. This is also important for SEO, by the way. There's more factor. Google actually gives more factor to the keywords that you're incorporating into your subheadings in comparison, for example, the normal text blocks, paragraphs. But more importantly than catering for the needs of search engine robots, it's catering for users. Let them scan. By the way, for example, let's take an example. Some IVF clinics have a page of our philosophy, our approach. People are not going to be reading all that. Okay, people might want, okay, let's check out what their approach, let's see what they decided to write here. Let them skim through the subheadings and the first sentences of the first paragraphs. Most of them are going to be doing that. Okay, so if you go back home and look at your About Us or whatever strategic page that you picked up on Google Analytics as a top page, you can take this point and say, okay, I'm going to now look at it from this point of view, based on this research. Can a user understand what I'm about if he just sort of skims the headings? If not, maybe it's time to improve the headings there. It's something that will create a copywriting and usability impact, because it won't take you that long. And again, it will affect the majority of your users. So you don't need to really revise the entire text for that. Crazy Egg, please write that down for those that want to check it out later. It's a tool. They have a free option and a $9 option and some other options. Basically, it's, again, a software as a service. It provides you with an idea, a heat map, sort of. But this is not based on the eye tracking, but more on the click tracking. But it gives you, for example, in this case, if this was your website, we see in the top navigation links, we see that people are very interested in videos because it's the most highlighted there. We see that the 4 or 5 top clips at this widget box here are quite popular. By the way, something interesting, if you see the last 2 results, they get more clicks than the ones just above it. This is also a phenomenon known in search engine results pages. A lot of times if you're ranked number 10, you will get more clicks than being ranked number 9 because people see it at the end, their eye stops there, and they check it out. But anyway, this is a different website. The point is that please implement that or consider implementing that on your website, and boom, you'll see a picture like this on your website. It's pretty cool, and it's free. ClickTail, another tool. It's basically, you can go beyond heat map. So you can actually see videos of in-page analytics, how people actually, how their mouse moved within the website. It also, you can implement that on newsletters if you are to engage in email marketing. And you can also actually put it on web forms. If you've got certain input fields on your form that you might have a question, are users getting stuck there, consider implementing ClickTail on your page that contains the form, and you will see some interesting stuff there. This is a heat map from ClickTail. But again, the more interesting stuff is the videos of the in-page analytics. Feedback Army, just Google it. It's a very, very cheap service. You can put up your website, you can put up a new page, a new landing page you're considering. Hey guys, give me some feedback on that. There's an army of feedback providers there. It is written feedback, but again, it gives you some inputs to consider beyond your own bubble. A word about marketing research. There's 2 types of research. There's qualitative and quantitative. When you use something like Feedback Army or user testing that we'll see soon, it's not statistically valid. A focus group is where I get some insights. Okay, I might bring in a group of people in a room, ask them some questions. It provides me some insights, some ideas that I later need to validate using statistical data. That's quantitative data. So the Feedback Army, if you get some feedback and reviews, it doesn't mean that the whole world thinks the same. You will need to validate that, but it does give you some nice directions to look at, to think about at least. User feedback. This is, you might have seen in various websites at the bottom. Please provide us a feedback or a plus sign. Compile is a paid service. 4Q is a free service. Once that user clicks, in this case on the compile widget, the users can provide feedback. You will be surprised that or not that users like to give feedback. Okay, especially when they're in their own private and comfortable environment in front of their computer or smartphone. No one's really bothering them. And people like to say what they think. And you will get some ideas, you will get some suggestions, some compliments. You can use this crowdsourcing for QA purposes, quality assurance purposes, to be notified of a bug. And user feedback is something that I highly recommend for IVF clinics because IVF clinics don't have a lot of traffic. So each feedback is important. If I was Amazon, I probably already know what users think about my website and I've got enough feedback. But when you've got little traffic, each one of those feedbacks is important. Just like if you're building a new startup, you really want to get the opinions of the first clients or anyone's feedback. So do consider that. You can use it for free during, using 4Q. User testing is another tool. Please write that down or continue your camera rolling. We'll show an example of that. Basically, you can ask a person according to a few attributes. For example, I want an American guy with income of above 100,000 a month to answer my questions, to go through my website, to actually tape himself doing it. You will see an example, and it gives some interesting insights. And each one is unique, each one is different because each one of us is unique. So the feedbacks you will get are quite enlightening. Let's see an example. We'll see 3 parts. This is quite a long video. I highlighted 3 parts.
IVF Berlin site.
I don't know this guy. Yeah, I just went on the internet, ordered his test, and this is what I got.
These circles
and I did it on a German site, IVF clinics, that I don't know about.
Children
either.
At the center. The child's face could be cuter, honestly. Here we have another. We have something which conjures up the idea of reproduction, sexual reproduction, and this also again embryo, formation, zygote, that kind of stuff. So scientific. We come down. Yeah, the white background, the blue colors, simple words. Yeah, kind of scientific. Alright, so let's move on. It looks like
as he moves on, I also required that the person will be fluent in German.
Look at the words.
Okay, and that's what I got.
Welcome. Yeah, yeah. Okay, just basically a welcome page, doesn't say anything else. Okay. Alright, so under each one we have some drop downs. So let's go to the first one. Kinderwunsch.
We'll move on to the next clip, to the next section of the existing clip.
See pictures of the doctors involved. Indeed, we do. The labor team. Okay, so basically only one doctor because that's his site. Not a bad picture. He looks friendly, but it's slightly maybe slightly tricky, if you like. Shifty, not exactly shifty, but something I'm not telling you, kind of. I know something you don't, or I don't know. So I'm not sure if this is the best picture. I wonder what other people would think of impressions of him. Okay, and then so that's the same picture we had before, and again here.
Let's go on to the next one.
Okay, so here they're different partners. So one in Munich, contact times, contact
this is the user
form,
checking out the web form, the contact form.
To work, no checking for the email address. This is all fine. I could send that in, but I won't. Well, why don't I just do that? I just make sure you understand. Okay, oops, and send that in. Oh, good, it does double check. So
email verification.
Okay, and send that in. It worked fine. Okay, now the message, this feedback is in English. I think you want that in German. Okay, this map is not loading, but it's probably just...
Okay, two interesting things that, in my humble opinion, appear here. One, the last sort of bug that he found, when you order a few tests, you will find some things, most likely, that none of you or your team have found. Uh, it's always insightful. Secondly, that guy thought that the picture of the doctor is not the most ideal picture. Again, it goes back to it might be true, but I wouldn't, if I was the owner of this website, I wouldn't jump into conclusions and go and replace that image unless my wife thinks the same as well. But otherwise, again, it's not statistically valid, so it's probably worth checking it. On the other hand, it might be a correct direction, and in that sense, this one-man focus group pinpointed a direction that I need to further look into and try to validate that. And you know, we're not all statisticians, and you're very busy running your own business, so you're not going to open a market research company now to check it. But you know, it's even sometimes enough to check with your colleagues, to check with your friends, even check with 5 people about the same question. Make sure you ask the right people, and they're not too that they're honest and direct. Okay, we'll go to a few red alerts within Google Analytics. Engagement. Basically, you get to that when you go into engagement under behavior on the left navigation. We won't talk about it too much, but if it's only one page and it's not 30% of the people, I agree with that very wise stuff that we heard. It's something to look at. How many people? What's the depth of your views on the website? Are visitors looking at 5 pages on your website or 1 page? If it's 1 page, it's a red alert from my experience. Exit pages, where visitors getting stuck. I won't go into that because Eyal explained that. Site speed. Site speed, there's a correlation, between exit pages, maybe, correlation between exit pages and site speed. People get stuck a lot of times on pages that are heavy loading. People have almost zero patience for that sort of stuff. A page, for example, that has heavy flash or a heavy element within it, you might pick up on it on the site speed report on Google Analytics, and then you can look at it, see why it's happening. Site speed is also important as far as SEO, and there's a lot of Panda updates in the Google algorithm, and site speed and how fast your web pages load is an increasingly important factor in your SEO. You may consider looking at your hosting package, which is in many cases a shared hosting, and check what's called VPS, which is virtual private server. You don't need a dedicated server right now, but even going on a VPS, which may cost you $50 a month instead of $20 a month or $15 a month, I claim it's worth it because it will improve your visitor's experience. It's a lot more cool to be on a site that's loading quickly, and it will also improve your SEO. That's a side note about site speed. You can also type in, by the way, Google site speed test and see how Google monitors the speed of your URL, the one that you inputted, and you can see a report from Google about that, in addition to seeing the site speed report within Google Analytics. Goal conversion by source. Eyal talked about that soon. I think that each one of you should log into Google Analytics at least once a month. I mean the people that are actually key to the clinic business and or marketing. And after they've verified that goals are set up on Google Analytics, they should check which referral is providing them which conversion rate. Okay? By the way, regarding the phone number question. Luckily, you live in the UK, which is like the US, a very advanced country. Okay, I see the nod. So, but anyway, there's certain countries where there's call tracking solutions. In the US, there's one called Mongoose, and you can integrate that also into Google Analytics, so you can see the number of calls for each source. But regardless, you can remember that that report. It's looking at the goals according to the sources. Goal conversion by source. The impact. Okay, first of all, generally, you can type that into Google, the $300 million button. There's a story in Web Analytics where a large, very large e-commerce website actually removed a button and increased its sales by 45%, which translated to $300 million a year. Now, as was mentioned before, you guys don't have a shopping cart on your website, but there is still an impact. Let's do this quick math together. Let's say you have 3,000 visitors a month, which is not low for IVF clinics. I mentioned in yesterday's session that according to my research, one of the leading IVF clinics in Germany is claiming to have 250 visits a day. But in the US, this is not a large number, 3,000 a month. And looking at the searches, by the way, I mentioned the Google AdWords tool, which showed on fertility 450,000 searches in the US. Getting 3,000 of that is not extremely. It's not impossible. Let's say you get out of that traffic, you get 60 new patient inquiry emails. Okay, so basically it's 2% of your traffic is becoming inquiry emails. And let's say from the 60 you're getting 20 new patients a month. So the 60, they go into your sales funnel and being handled by your super salespeople, and you're generating 20 new patients a month from that traffic. So if you work on the things that you learned this morning, and you improve the conversion rates only by 10%. By the way, improving your conversion rates by 10% is not too hard. Okay? It's not too difficult. It's just a matter of doing it, of applying some of the tools and going through the process and understanding it. And basically, once you start applying the improvements, it works. I've seen more than 10% improvement only by changing the color of the button. It wouldn't happen in your case because you need some other things. You need more trust building elements, for example. Okay? People that come to your website, we talked yesterday about testimonials. Perhaps you've got accreditations that you can surface to that contact page. Having a sales rep online, we talked about that yesterday, obviously improves conversion rates. Even that will improve your conversion rates by more than 10%. Okay, so this is not a very difficult thing to do, but it's not easy. You need to do it. So a 10% increase would generate 2 additional clients to you a month. Now, if you're generating, say, $6,000 from a patient or from a client, which basically say they have 3 treatments, $2,000 each, you're generating a revenue of $6,000. Let's say that's an assumption. So it's another $12,000 a month in additional revenue. It might be $8,000 in profit, in gross profit, and that turns out to another $144,000 a year. So if obviously this is an example only, and your numbers are different, but you get the picture. I mean, it's worth investing in improving your conversion rates because you will enjoy the longer-term impact of that. I claim that the notion of I'm a doctor, I'm not in internet marketing, or Obviously, you've come here, so you know you are getting closer to marketing. But this is the sort of a way that you guys should start thinking more economically about the website, more looking at KPIs of cost per lead, the number of leads, okay? And actually looking more at it statistically and analyzing it. In general, online marketing is becoming more of a science than an art. The art is always there as well. But in comparison to offline marketing, there's a lot more stats, a lot more funnels that you need to follow, and you need to become good at looking at KPIs in order to improve your business. It's quite critical. And even if you're a manager and you've got someone helping you on that, you need to know the main KPIs as well. And as always, please do try this at home. We mentioned some tools. We saw a video of user testing, Crazy Egg. All these are very simple stuff that you can start doing tomorrow. Log on to user testing, for example. It'll cost you about $40 to order a video like I showed you on your site. Worth the $40, I can almost guarantee it. You might fall on a tester that's not that great, but typically from my experience, you will get insights from any videos there. And we saw the other tools as well. I'm sure these presentations will be available to you. And my Gmail is here as well. If you've got a question for me, go ahead and contact me. Thank you.